the EP Podcast. Heard everywhere podcasts can be found, and always at the eppodcast.com.
Funny thing from the opening commercial that I want to tell you about.
What?
I don't know if anybody's noticed it, but last month, the American Legion commercial at the beginning of the EP podcast episode did not have this in there, and now they've added it in the last week or so. There's a little part in the commercial that you might have missed if you've listened to it too many times. If you go into the American Legion and you say the EP podcast sent me, or I listened to the EP podcast, your first drink's in the house.
Really?
So if you're kicking off your night in Evergreen Park this weekend, or any night that you're going out, or you have an event over there, let's say you show up there, I know there's a basketball league that I play in that always shows up at the bar after they play.
Right.
All those guys on the team could walk in and be like, in unison, we came in and we heard it on the EP podcast. Free drinks all around. Okay? When they told me they were doing this, I was like, you're nuts.
That's amazing.
I told them, I'm like, you're nuts.
No, they're not. That's amazing.
You're giving away drinks on the EP, and I'm not paying for them. Like, it sounds like I'm giving them away. In fact, I'm taking total credit for this, but it wasn't even my idea. It was theirs. So I want you to go in there, folks, and get your free drink from the American Legion, okay? Just stop in and be like, free drink, EP podcast. And then they got to give it to you.
All right.
And then the next day, walk in a mask, because it is October and Halloween season, and get another free drink. You know, I mean, until they recognize you, you can probably pull this off multiple times.
Sure, the bartenders switch out.
They do. They probably switch out. And like I said, it's Halloween. Go in with a Wolfman mask. The next day, go in there with a zombie mask. Free drinks.
Free drinks.
Okay. Bring several masks.
Thanks, guys.
Bring several masks. Put them in a backpack. Go into the bathroom. Keep changing masks. Free drinks.
Free drinks.
And I want to start off the EP podcast this week with a riddle. This is
Okay.
I found a binder that I have near my little desk space here in my basement that my wife lets me keep so I can keep track of all the stuff going on with all the podcasts that I do. And it's a binder that I put together during my 10-year radio career of every stupid or good or bad or ridiculous or probably not even allowed to happen idea that had ever been presented to me for radio. Like every little bit you could possibly do. Like some of these things I read.
You just jotted it down when it happened?
Yeah, I would either jot them down, or I would see like a suggestion in like a radio book, or I'd go to a conference and I would just come up with things with friends, and then I'd make them into a spreadsheet, like different ideas I could do.
You made them into a spreadsheet.
And I did. I got pages of different like little stunts and little things that you can kind of do in radio.
Okay.
And I found this thing and I was like, well, I started flipping through it. And I was like, oh, this is a good idea. And there's a couple different variations of this. But the idea is, I'll tell the riddle at the beginning of the show, and I won't reveal the answer to the riddle until the end of the show, which gives you incentive to make sure you make it to the end of the show.
Yes.
Brilliant. Like in radio, you do that to try to get somebody through like a half hour or a 20-minute segment or something like that without skipping. Or get them through the commercial break. That would be another thing that you could do. So in this case, we're going to try it this week with the first ever EP podcast Riddle of the Week.
Woohoo!
All right.
Lay it on me.
All right, here we go. Here is the riddle of the week. This was provided to me or passed on to me by a friend of ours that has been on the show before, Mike Kerwin. He was one of the guys from the Barbecue Bash a few weeks ago.
Yes, he was.
Okay, and I saw this and I was like, well, we're definitely going to use this, and we're going to see whether or not anybody can get the answer. You have a half hour to figure it out yourself, okay, to figure out what the riddle of the week is. It is 7 o'clock in the morning, and you are asleep. There is a sudden knock on the door, and behind... Oh, I like that sound effect. Do that again. There is a sudden knock on the door. Ooh, I like that. There we go. Behind the door are your parents who have surprised you for breakfast. You know, in your fridge, there's bread, milk, juice, and a jar of jam. And I think I'm supposed to say here that the milk is pasteurized. That could be key to the riddle.
Ooh.
What do you open first? Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
Just a little bit here on the EP podcast, Ben Belton, my Hollywood Insider, breaking down a lot of things going on in the movie world. But before we get to that, we have the EP Word on the Street. So much to get to, let's break it down. Over at the Youth Department, November the 2nd, the American Academy of Pediatrics Babysitter class is taking place. It's a Saturday class, $40 per student, ages 12 and older. I highly recommend it. Also on Saturday, November the 2nd, there are multiple events. Jacob's Well is doing their holiday vendor fair, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. with over 40 vendors and a visit from Santa Claus. It's a $1 admission fee, $34.50 West Maple. Also on that date, the First United Methodist Church from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. is having their holiday craft fair. Their only admission is a non-perishable food item for the Blessing Box. They're at 9358 South Holman Avenue. Meanwhile, the EP Library is having several events this week, including one headlined by yours truly. Tuesday, the 22nd of October, from 6:30 to 7:30 p.m., they have asked me to give a free online audio editing class, similar to what I do when I put together the EP podcast each and every week. The EP podcast rolls on. You can subscribe anywhere on any podcast app and always find it at theeppodcast.com. The world is fast and busy. Sometimes you got to get down to your speed. And the place to lower your speed and relax in Evergreen Park is at the Red Palm. Maybe your speed is wine on a Wednesday with your friends for Wine Down Wednesday. Maybe turtle races and Queen of Hearts on Thursday nights is more your speed. Each and every night, though, at the Red Palm, you get a little island attitude at a local latitude. When you walk into the Red Palm, it's like walking into an island bar, but right in Evergreen Park, with a menu like no other created by Chef Mario and cooked in a beautiful wood fire oven. Unique tastes, comfort foods, and honestly, the best wings you're gonna find anywhere. Have a tropical drink, a craft beer, a glass of wine, or share a bucket of lights with your friends. Watch the game on one of the many flat screen TVs over the top of their bar or out on the patio. The Red Palm at 3020 West 95th Street. Island attitude, local latitude. Ben Belton is on the line. He is my Hollywood Insider. He is my guy I go to whenever I want to know the inside scoop. I think I have inside scoop for him this week, so I'm looking forward to seeing if I have it. But first, let's say hello to him. How are you, Ben?
I'm doing well.
I went to one of the Jay and Silent Bob reboot premieres.
Awesome.
Okay, so now they released it last week on a Tuesday and a Thursday. I went to the Tuesday show. And they only had them at 7 p.m. here in Chicago at certain theaters. I went. And I sat through this movie. It is one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my entire life. And I am a huge Kevin Smith fan. This was one of the worst pieces of garbage that was written while everybody was high, produced while everybody was high, and probably went to every single distributor and they said no. And that's why they decided to do it like the way they did it, with only like 2 days with one showing a night on each one of those days at certain theaters. And then they're going to do their road show where you have to spend $200 to go see them in one place in one town. And then it goes straight to video, because otherwise they would have made no money off of this thing. It was horrible, Ben.
Sorry to hear that. I actually didn't see it, so I'm going to cross it off the list of movies that I'll ever watch at any point in time.
I love their movies. Like one of my favorite movies is Clerks. It was a go-to movie for me in college.
Yeah. So yes, you're actually reporting on that movie for me, because you were the only person I've known that has seen it, which there might be a reason for that.
Yeah, it was absolutely awful. Okay, so let's talk about things that hopefully aren't going to be awful. One of the things that I'm hearing is that there is a new Batman. I love when you jump into the stuff with all the comic book movies. I don't understand the reason to ever remake Batman after the Christopher Nolan Batmans. They're the quintessential Batmans. I don't think that the Affleck thing with DC Comics was something that you could write home about. And now you have this new one, and it looks like they've got a couple of big names that are in it. Tell me what you know about it.
Well, I can tell you this, and this is an exclusive, that Aquaman's stepdaughter is going to be Catwoman.
So this is an exclusive. Nobody knows about this yet?
Well, actually, not so much an exclusive as just me saying it. And it was announced yesterday that Zoe Kravitz, who happens to be Jason Momoa's stepdaughter, is actually going to be playing Catwoman. And what's interesting is she's already played Catwoman in the Lego Batman movie. She voiced the character already.
Okay.
For Warner Brothers. So it actually made a lot of sense with DC.
There are two guys that I am not ashamed to say I like their stuff. I like watching the Jack Ryan thing on Amazon Prime with John Krasinski. I liked A Quiet Place, which he directed. And of course, I was a huge fan of The Office. I think Ryan Reynolds is hysterical. I think he plays well with both men and women. I think he was great as Deadpool, but he's great in his other movies as well. When my wife takes me to a date movie that normally would be excruciating, I can at least focus on his jokes and be like, yeah, that's funny what he just did. These two guys are teaming up?
Yep, they're teaming up for a comedy. And as you know, John Krasinski is just doing great things as, of course, playing Jack Ryan. And in addition to that, Quiet Place, and then that one did, $350 million at the box office. And then there's the sequel that's coming out next spring. Now, Paramount Studios is looking for more projects to get him involved with. And so essentially they gave him the opportunity to direct and also write this movie called Imaginary Friends. And so, of course, they wanted him to work with Ryan Reynolds, and so they set that up. So now it looks like it's going to happen. And there's basically just finalizing release dates and all those sorts of things at this time. But yep, it's going to pair those two up. So it'll be interesting to see two really strong comedic actors working together, and then one directing the other.
Is there good stuff coming out right now or coming up very shortly here at the box office? Is it all just we're waiting around for the next comic book movie, or is there stuff that you're excited about or heard a great buzz about that we should make sure that we watch? Because I know that we're getting close to the time with the Oscar nominations and where a lot of the Oscar stuff is going to start coming out, I would think, right?
Yep. So the Oscar stuff is on its way out, as a matter of fact, already an early release in some of the bigger markets like New York and, of course, here in Los Angeles. With The Irishman, which is the Martin Scorsese, with Joe Pesci actually returning from retirement to acting for this part. Is coming out early. It's being shown here. In addition to that, you have The Lighthouse with Willem Dafoe. I always say his name wrong.
It's his own fault. It's his own fault for spelling it that way, Ben.
Yes. Yeah.
You tell Willem I said so.
Tell Willem, yeah. Well, supposedly he did. I heard he did it because he said there were too many people named William, so he decided to do something that was slightly different with his name. But
okay.
Great actor, hard name to pronounce. But anyway, the other stuff that's coming out that's pretty amazing. Of course, the Zombieland sequel, which I hear is great. And supposedly,
I liked the first one. It was such a sneaky hit. And I think there are some people who have not seen it, but the first Zombieland was really kind of a smart movie. You don't need to be into zombie films to watch it. It's not like a cringeworthy type movie. It's actually kind of funny. And it has like some great surprises in it. And that one great cameo, I don't want to give it away if you've never seen the original Zombieland, but there's a great cameo in it that really leads to a really funny joke that happens halfway through the movie. And I'm kind of looking forward to Double Tap just because I had such high expectations. I mean, I have high expectations. It was so good the first time, they waited so long for the second one. I would really be disappointed if it was bad.
Yeah, no, this one is, according to everyone. Now, I haven't seen it yet, but everyone I know that has seen it, that works in the industry, has said it's wonderful. And it said basically that it's, they've got the same cast. They really took time to make sure that they didn't mess it up. And so it's supposed to be really good. So, yeah, you've got that. You've got a lot of the award films coming. You've got, of course, you have the second Maleficent, if you're wanting to see, the family type stuff.
I don't get the Maleficent thing. I mean, the first time was a neat take, but now what are we going to do? She's already the bad guy with the heart of gold. How do you take this in another? I mean, like, there are certain things I think they should just be like, that's it. It's good. We finished it. We don't need another one. I don't get that one at all. I know my wife's going to want to watch it. I'm going to be stuck sitting on the couch next to her watching that movie, but I'm not into that one.
Well, you've got an amazing cast involved with a lot of Oscar nominees, Oscar winners. And then in addition to that, Linda Woolverton, who wrote Beauty and the Beast, the animated film from years ago that did amazing. She actually wrote the script for this one. So there's a lot, obviously working in its favor. But yeah, there's going to be some stuff that's coming in November that like Midway and a number of other big films that are going to be more like a good guys film as opposed to something like this. It's going to be definitely more family fare.
All right. Any other big things you want to share with us before we let you go?
I was at Whole Foods the other day and ran into Shaka Khan. So that was
Shaka Khan shops at Whole Foods.
She does.
What did she buy? What did she have in the grocery basket?
I didn't look in her bag.
These are important things. You look in her basket.
I
do just like Lance. You talk to her, you look down, she's a vegan, or she likes to eat steaks, or she's into some weird stuff. I mean, she's got a real mac and cheese fetish. She's got 3 different brands in there. These are the things you got to look for.
I was just excited to say I met Shaka Khan because, Shaka Khan. It's kind of even fun just to say her name.
It is. It is kind of fun to say Shaka Khan. With that, that's Ben Belton. Thank you, my buddy.
Yep.
It's the middle of the show song. 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 Chris had nothing to put here, so he put this song. It's the middle of the show song.
Does your financial advisor actually take time to listen to you? Is your financial strategy personalized for you and your family? Will your financial advisor be there as your life and financial situation changes? Why worry about those things when Tom Walsh is nearby? He's your local Edward Jones financial advisor. He works with you, focusing on what's important to you. He uses an established process to create personalized financial strategy, and he partners with you to help your strategy stay on track. Listen, families in South Chicagoland have been benefiting from Tom's get-to-know-you approach and do the right thing values for over 18 years. Contact my close personal friend and also a fellow Brother Rice alumni, Tom Walsh. He's your local Edward Jones advisor, located in Mount Greenwood, right outside of the EP at 111th and Kedzie. Member SIPC. I go to this movie at Marcus Cinemas out in Orland. It is one of 2 nights where it's available anywhere in the country. And then after that, you have to go to the Jay and Silent Bob Roadshow tour, where there's only 1 night at the Music Box Theater in downtown Chicago, or near North Side. I can't remember exactly where it is. And this is the only way you can see it. So we had to get our tickets early in advance, reserved my seats. There's only a few theaters in Chicago that had it. They only show it at 7 p.m. on Tuesday night and on Thursday night. So by the time you've heard this, that's already over. All you got now is if you go and do the roadshow thing, where tickets are from $150 to in the 200s to get into this thing, because they come out and the cast talks to you and everything else like that. It's like a big event. So we go there for this. And we're excited, my wife and I. I mean, it is juvenile for us to be seeing this movie.
No, it's not.
It was the 90s when all of his movies were out, and the last one that he really did was that, besides the Clerks 2 thing, was 2001. So we go here, and we go into Marcus Cinemas, which I have been in a billion times before. I go into that cinema all the time. It was the last time I will ever be in there.
Why?
I go in there with my ticket. I get everything. I use the little Fandango. I get the ticket stub. I'm ready to walk in. They're tearing the tickets there. And for the first time I've ever seen this, they've got 2 people standing there while they're taking the tickets. And one of those things that you see at airports when it's time to get in the security line.
Oh no.
Or when you get on the plane where your bag has to be.
Are they frisking you before you go into a movie theater?
Where your bag has to be this size. And it says your purse has to be this size. And it's like this tiny purse basically you have to have. Now the purse is big enough if I wanted to really smuggle 4 9mm in and some jujubes. So I don't get the point of it at all.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's what I said. I actually asked the guy. I'm like,
you can't fit a bottle of soda or bottle of water in it.
Why are we checking bags?
They don't want you sneaking food.
And he's like, we don't want people sneaking in food. I'm like, but you could sneak a lot of food into the bag that you have right there.
Yeah.
And so then here's the thing that really drove me nuts. I'm watching the people before Erica, and I know Erica's bag is going to be too big. Erica likes to carry a big purse. She's got nothing in it, okay, that's of any importance, but she likes to carry a big purse. Okay. So I know she's going to get rejected. I'm already telling her, you should just get out of line and go get rid of it. But she's stubborn and she's going to see. She's like, I'll scrunch it up. And I'm I can tell this isn't going to work because these guys are standing there like it's an airport security line to go see a movie. And people are putting their purses up. And they're both helping each other. Hey, is it over the line on that side? Hold it steady, man.
Oh, my God.
And they're getting you if you're 1 inch outside of the line. There isn't any leeway on this at all. You better not be just a half an inch outside the line. They're throwing people out of the line. Grown men and women.
Way.
middle-aged people like you and me, we're not even hassling teenagers here. We're hassling just people with money who have jobs and careers who are spending their money in their business.
All because they don't want you to sneak in food?
Because they're afraid I'm taking in, like, I don't know, my medication if I'm an old guy or, whatever it is.
Oh, my God.
And so I'm like, so I get up there
Leave
and
us alone.
they're throwing people out left and right. And I know she's going to get thrown out. And I'm telling the guy, like, when did this start happening? And he's telling me, well, this is the policy. I'm like, this is ridiculous. I'm never coming back in here again. This is the first theater I've ever seen do this. You're just not the only theater that's available to me.
Honestly, my TV at home is just fine.
Right. I mean, here's the thing. Movie theaters are already losing to the fact that I'm just waiting for it to come out on Netflix so I can sit on my couch and watch it on my ginormous home screen.
Right.
So, like, you're just making me say I don't want to ever walk in here again. And that's how I felt. I was like, well, I'm never going. I looked at the guy, I'm like, never coming back here again. And he shrugged at me. I'm like, cool, dude.
Well, what does he care? He makes minimum wage.
Yeah, he's the manager. He told me
he's
he
the
was
manager.
He's like, well, I'm the manager. And I was like, well, you're a terrible manager. This is the dumbest thing that I've ever seen.
I'm sure that came from above.
No, I don't think it did.
You don't?
I felt like...
You think he just
he's a
instituted it?
new overzealous manager who's decided that he's locking down that theater out there in Orland.
Because that's going to make all the money.
He's locking that theater down.
That's going to bring all the money in.
This is his baby now. He's been put in charge of that theater. And
By
that
golly.
man he's got the special uniform because the other guys, they have different uniforms. He's got the special manager uniform. He puts on that special manager uniform in front of the mirror and he goes, today I'm going to stop crime in my theater. She's got like one of those girl wallets. Men have wallets that we can fit in our back pocket. You guys have things that are like the size of a size 15 shoe. And she hands it to me and she goes, can you hold this for me? So I'm holding this stupid wallet the whole time. She's like, well, I have nowhere to put it. And I'm afraid somebody's going to steal it if I'm carrying it around in my hand, but I can't walk in with my purse. So I'm walking around holding this stupid wallet in my hand. That's probably why I'm the angriest about this.
Over the wallet.
You
had to hold the wallet.
I was inconvenienced to this whole thing, Hannah.
The size 15 shoe wallet.
Yeah. The hardest part about being injured is the recovery, especially physical therapy. Most physical therapy clinics schedule multiple patients at the same time. Those of us in Evergreen Park, though, have Core Fitness and Physical Therapy. Core gives you one-on-one care inside of a facility that's much more like a spa than a clinic. That allows them to treat the entire body, not just the symptoms. Core Fitness and Physical Therapy also offers Pilates mat classes as well as group equipment classes. They see athletes, postpartum moms, people with chronic conditions such as MS and Parkinson's, men and women. Whatever your need, give them a call today, 708-422-0990, or stop by their newly renovated and expanded facilities. 2940 95th Street in Evergreen Park. Experience something better at Core Fitness and Physical Therapy. Halloween is upon us.
Yes.
Are you dressing up this year?
Yes.
You are?
Yes.
You dress up every year?
Yes.
Do you go trick-or-treating?
No, but this will be the first time I will be able to do trick-or-treat at my house. Number one, I have a house.
You have a house now. You're not in a condo. People don't come to condos.
No, they don't.
I used to dress up my condo or my apartment when I was young, even when I had a first floor one.
They don't come by.
Nobody comes by.
Nope.
You got decorations.
Very lonely.
You can put a sign out that's like, I'm giving away candy. People just think that's creepy. Mm-hmm. That guy in that apartment wants children to come in there so he can eat them like Jeffrey Dahmer. Like nobody goes to an apartment ever. So you get yourself all dressed up. Do you still do costume parties?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my God, yes.
Do you ever do like events where there's contests for your costume?
Never. I've gone to them, but I've never entered into one.
I've been in them before.
I bet you have.
I have. I've been in them.
I bet you've won.
I did in college. I walked around as a nun one time with a big giant habit smoking a cigar.
I'm looking at it framed as an 8x10 on your wall right now.
There's a framed picture of it up here on the wall that my really good friend, who's Audrey's godfather, gave her on her first birthday. And it says, to Audrey from Unky Joe, the first time your father tells you you've done something wrong, point to this picture. So that hangs down here in the bar proudly. Yes. Now, there is going to be a costume contest here in Evergreen Park, which I thought was really cool.
Nice.
Our good friends over at Unidad, they just told me about this last week. Unidad is having a costume party. You're not required to wear a costume to go to this party, But there is a costume competition, so why not?
Why?
This Saturday night, the 26th, starting at 9 p.m. going until midnight.
Ooh.
It's $35 flat rate. You walk into the party, there's a costume contest, there is a taco bar, and when they're saying taco bar, you've been to Unidad.
Yes.
This is the authentic
Tacos
stuff.
are amazing.
It's laughable to call it a taco bar because I think they're doing, like, you get the impression that like somebody's got like Wisconsin cheddar cheese sitting out there and some sour cream and some ground beef. That I
some
know
crunchy shells.
Sal ain't making that over there. They're going to be making the good stuff
Steak
over there.
and
The Mama's
Oh, yeah.
tacos and all that. There's going to be some spectacular food over there. Generally, look, Unidad is a really nice place to go to, and they've got pretty good prices, but they're an upscale place. To be
Yeah.
able to walk in there and eat their food and get beer, wine, alcohol. I mean, they have a selection of things that they're going to be
that's
doing.
included?
Yeah, it's all
In
included.
the $35?
Beer, cocktails, and wine, and a taco bar
If they don't have bad beer
for
or wine.
$35 flat. Let me tell you something right now. On a normal Saturday night going out, you're probably going to drop far more than that.
Oh, yeah.
This is going to be a big party. I expect this thing to be packed. I think you should, you almost want to get there just a little bit early, you know? But I'm sure they're going to find a way to get everybody in. They got that patio outside. It's supposed to be
Very
a nice
nice
weekend, or it's
patio.
hopefully going to be a nice weekend. Get out there and go to Unidad. They're right there between Holman and Turner on 95th Street. Check out Unidad. Get in there. $35. Do the entire thing. Costume contest. If you went to the costume contest this Saturday, which I may be at myself.
Really?
What are you thinking about being?
Well, what I'm dressing up as, it was American Horror Story, the Coven season.
Okay.
Of course, it's based in New Orleans. I'm going to be a Coven witch. Mm-hmm. So.
Awesome. I'm bringing out an oldie but goodie.
What, the nun smoking the cigar?
No. The big giant gift box that's got a tag on it that says 2 women from God.
Oh, my God.
I go to church on Sunday morning. I go to church and I got to pray. I go to church on Sunday morning time. Get down on my knees, I got to pray. You got to pray, hey the Lord. Pray, pray the Lord. I done some things in life I ain't proud of. I go to church and I got to pray. I even shot a man down in Tennessee. Buried him in a shallow grave. You got to pray, hey the Lord. Pray, hey the Lord. When I get down to those pearly gates, St. Peter, he gonna say, you done too many bad things in your life, son. Gotta go to church and you got to pray. You got to pray, hey Lord. Pray, hey Lord.
Hannah, there's another event going on this Saturday, the 26th. And I think
Okay.
it works out well for you if you want to go to the Unidad Halloween party, because that starts at 9 p.m. There's like a big festival going on at Blue Island Beer Company.
Yeah.
And we forgot to mention it last week because Joe Ryan came in. You heard Joe Ryan.
Yes,
He sat down here and played
yes.
songs, everything like that. Nice guy. Joe Ryan came in and he told us all about it. There is a festival going on there. There's something like 14 bands. It's $10 to get in. 2 different stages. And it's inside the brewery. They have the stages in the brewery.
Which brewery?
One's in the Blue Island Beer Company
Oh.
at 133rd and Old Western Avenue.
Mm-hmm.
So Joe wanted to promote that. We got into such a long conversation last week, and then I inadvertently cut that part, and I didn't mean to. So I want to give Joe a quick plug because he organized the thing, and it just happens to be going on over at Blue Island Beer Company. So if you're looking for good music, they're all original acts. You got blues, you got country, you got bluegrass, you got some really fun, lively bands you can go see. Go check it out. It's $10 for the whole day to get in there. So you can go enjoy live music all day long, hang out, and then go don your costume and head off to Unidad in the evening. I think it's a perfect, that's how I'm planning my Saturday. That's what my Saturday is going to be. It's going to be an entire day of just like, I'm going to the concert because it's a $10 admission, and then I'm going to Unidad for $35 all I can eat tacos. And they are going to hate me when I come walking in the door for $35 saying, feed me, after I've been at a brewery all day watching all this music. So, I mean, like, I'm the worst nightmare. I'm coming in my nun habit with my cigar, and I'm just kind of walking in, and I'm going to be like, feed me tacos. Here's my 35 bones. Yeah! Companies that offer insurance at low prices may not cover what you need, just what you paid for. Cutting your auto insurance coverage could end up costing you thousands in the end. Mike Thauer at Country Financial offers what cut-rate insurers cannot: peace of mind. Mike's a lifelong resident of Evergreen Park, with his offices right at 3923 West 95th Street in the EP. Mike has policies that stand up to life's challenges and protect what you value most. He'll help you make a smart decision, not a costly one. Call Mike Thauer, your local country insurance representative, 708-425-1559, and protect what matters most. Policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Preferred Insurance Company, or Country Casualty Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. All right, it's riddle answer time.
Woohoo!
All right, so I'm gonna read the riddle one more time. I'm just gonna surmise the riddle because I think the answer is there. If you did it, you're gonna do the sign. Okay,
I'll do my
You're
sound
laying
effect.
in bed asleep, and all of a sudden a knock at the door, and it's your parents, and you forgot they were coming over for breakfast, and you have pasteurized milk and some eggs and some other stuff inside of your refrigerator,
Jelly.
and you are asked the question: what do you open first? You open your eyes.
That's what I said.
You were asleep. I put this thing on Facebook, and half the people said the door. One person said the eggs. I don't know where he came from with that one. Like, yeah, sure, the eggs. That makes
Opening
sense.
his eyes.
Yeah, you open the eggs. Open the eggs. I don't even know how that. I want to write back. Like, really? Did you sit down with a pad and paper to try
Now,
to
you
figure
talking
that one
about
out?
open the eggs, open the carton, or actually opening
I don't
the
know.
egg?
I would have asked more, but it was the wrong answer. It was not only the wrong answer, it wasn't even the answer that people were looking for. Like, you think people are going to say the door, right?
You gotta open your eyes first.
Or you think somebody
you don't
might,
have
but
to
he
open your eyes.
overanalyzed it. He overanalyzes. I can't be the door, so he went with the eggs.
Instead of his eyes. That's talent.
Maybe he makes his eggs with his eyes closed. I have no idea.
Another show isn't wrapped up. Another show's in the books. Another show isn't wrapped up. And then by the looks, it's gonna be a good one. And we'll see you next week. And the nude is basement. And the nude is basement. Another show is wrapped up. Another show is wrapped up. Another show is wrapped up. And it's in the books. Another show is wrapped up. Another show is wrapped up. And by the looks, it's gonna be a good one. Nudie's Basement. Broadcast Basement. The Nudie's Basement. The Broad Basement. Slancha.
The EP Podcast. Heard everywhere podcasts can be found, and always at the eppodcast.com.